are live. We are live. Hello, everyone. It is a day off. It is Wednesday. We normally meet on Tuesday. It is Wednesday. We are here for our migraine strategy breakthrough call. And I am Debbie Waidl. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a functional health coach certified through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and the Institute for Functional Health Coaching. And I specialize in helping women like you who are suffering day to day with migraines find their migraine freedom by reducing that severity, duration, and frequency of those migraines that you're having. And today we have a very special guest with us. Bryan, I didn't tell you, but you are our first male guest in this group.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well,
yes,
happy to be here.
Yeah, we're a group full of women, but Bryan has graciously offered to come to us today to give us his perspective on what it's like living in a household with someone who is suffering with migraines, but then miraculously living in a household now with someone who has freedom from migraines. So again, welcome, Bryan. Thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure, Debbie. Thanks.
Wonderful. So we're just going to start with a really easy question. Have you always known Aaron? Well, I should preface that. This is Aaron's husband, Bryan. Everybody pretty much knows Aaron in the group. Have you pretty much known Aaron with migraines all your lives?
Yes, although we weren't really aware of that until the migraines got dramatically worse after our daughter was born. And then they got worse again after she started going through early onset perimenopause after she turned 41.
Yes. So this is something I hear a lot from a lot of people. They come to me saying, well, I've only had migraines for 2 or 3 years. And I believe Aaron said the same thing to me, but then when she started describing her symptoms from before, well, I do get headaches. Well, I do feel off this way. I do get brain fog. I do get tiredness. I do have sinus pressure. These are all things that are actually low-grade migraines. So when we describe a migraine, we're talking of a scale like 1 to 10. And I think what you're kind of describing and what Aaron described to me before was she had a lot of 1 to 3s for a while until they jumped up and then went to 6 to 7 to 8 to, putting her in bed and that kind of thing. So, yeah. So what was it like sharing your life with somebody who was suffering with migraines like that?
The migraines made everything more difficult for us, and it was very frustrating for everybody. At their worst, it wasn't unusual for us to lose a couple of days a week to the migraines, and it just made it impossible for us to plan everything as a family. And our daughter, who's 6 now, knew that, okay, there's some days that we have to be really quiet and mommy can't play because she's got a migraine. And so she just has to lie down for a while.
Yeah. And that's got to be so heartbreaking, to watch your daughter who can't fully understand that. Yeah, absolutely.
No, she can.
Absolutely. I remember Aaron telling me a couple times that, your daughter really that was part of her day. She kind of knew when Aaron was starting not to feel well. She kind of knew the drill, and it just made her so sad that someone at that young age had to have that kind of an understanding of how to deal with a parent who can't be a parent at the moment.
Right.
So,
and it was heartbreaking for Erin as well. She did not like not being able to do anything with Adelaide.
Absolutely. And I think so many of us as women, I hear so often that the reason that a lot of people in this group take medication is because they need to push through. They'd almost be willing to try to ride out the migraine without that pill, but they need that pill because they need to be a mom, they need to be a grandma, they need to be there for their spouse, they have to get to work. So, and I know that was something that Aaron really struggled with was, what can I do to get back to being the person I need to be in my household?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of an emotional toll did that take on you guys? How did that make you feel to see her in pain every day like that?
It made me feel helpless, just knowing that there was really nothing I could do about it except for, try to keep the blinds drawn and Adelaide and the dogs quiet and out of the house as much as possible, just to give her the space to feel better. But it took a real toll on all of us. And yeah, I don't like feeling helpless or like there's nothing I can do about
it. No, we don't, do we? Definitely not. You mentioned having to shift things around. Did you guys find you had to change plans a lot because of these migraines when they set in?
We did. We had to change plans frequently, and frequently at the last minute, because we would have made plans either with friends or with some of Adelaide's friends for a play date or something like that. And all of a sudden we'd need to cancel or say, okay, it's only going to be Bryan and Adelaide there, or, okay, we can't do this at all because we wanted to go out as grown-ups. And now we can't go out to meet that other couple for dinner pre-pandemic, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of our discussion is pre-pandemic and post, right? We're hoping
Yes.
the post comes soon.
Hopefully, yes.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like we got some people on here watching today. We've got Jane on, Victoria, and Tamara's on. Great. Victoria says mine are starting back up again, and I feel so sorry for my husband and son. Yeah, Victoria, let's chat. We don't have to worry about that. Obviously Bryan had definitely emotions on how he felt when Aaron had migraines, but Aaron no longer has migraines. So that's kind of a good precursor to move into that now. So Aaron obviously was part of the Freedom from Migraine Method program. She's obviously a graduate. So what difference do you see in her now as compared to before?
She rarely, if ever, has migraines or head pain, really, of any kind. We went from losing, again, a day or two a week to the point now where we rarely lose time at all, anytime, to a migraine or a headache. And so that has been a huge difference. All of a sudden we can know that on the weekend we can do these things because we're all going to be, functioning and not just feeling horrible with a migraine. So it's made a world of difference in our house. And our house is now a much happier place because of that, and for everybody.
I can imagine. Yeah, I've had a chat with a couple other husbands, and that's one of the big things that they say is, and it's not to pick on the person that has migraines, but it is a truthful fact that when you're not dealing with any kind of pain, whether it's migraines or autoimmune conditions or anything, when that pain isn't there, everyone's so much happier because it is so extremely difficult to be happy every single day when you're just waiting for that migraine to come around the corner and sneak up on you and ruin your plans. But it's so good to hear that you're able to make plans and do those things. And, in full disclosure, Erin has a few days here or there where she starts to feel a little head pain come back in. But as Bryan can attest to, the great thing is with going through the Freedom from Migraine method, we give you the tools to know how to not let it become a migraine. And I'm sure you see her use those tools quite often. Bryan, I'm going for a walk.
Yes.
Or I'm going to go take 5 minutes to myself to meditate or something like that. But so do you see her do that quite often? Does she actually tell you when she does that?
Oh yeah, no, and sometimes, if we're about to do something, she'll just say, all right, like you said, I need 5 minutes. And then it's okay, fine, not a problem. But with that, like you said, she can use those tools, and taking 5-10 minutes to do what you need to do to avoid the migraine is a whole lot better. And knowing what those tools are, so you have something to do, because that also helps remove the feeling of helplessness. Now it's not like the migraine's coming, there's nothing I can do about it. It's like you said, my head feels a little off. I'm going to do these things so that it doesn't progress.
Absolutely.
I absolutely see her doing that.
I know, she tells me.
Yeah.
But it's so nice to not have that feeling of helplessness. And a lot of the things that she can do, not all of them, some things you kind of want to do on your own, but a lot of these things that she can do with the family. Like we go for a walk, or, we do a little exercise together, or, having the glass of water, whatever the case is, there's so many things that you can still incorporate into your day. So if you are that mom or that grandma, if you feel it coming on, it's not like you have to worry about not being able to stop it with life still going on around you. So it's so good to hear that those tools are working and that you see them and that she's utilizing that. So now you mentioned like 5, 10, 15 minutes, she can squash these. Do you remember how long her migraines used to be?
Oh, I do remember migraines where it would come on at 10 in the morning and not be gone until late afternoon. And of course, when you've had a migraine that long, you feel like you got run over by a truck. And, at that point, she was just exhausted. And so there with the timing, it's a huge change too. I don't remember any of them lasting less than a couple of hours, for sure.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you lose your whole day. So
Yeah.
the head pain may go away by, let's say, 4 or 5 o'clock, in the late afternoon, but then
Hmm.
you're kind of done for the night. I think most of us feel that way. We're so tired, so worn out,
Hmm.
because they're exhausting. They're exhausting.
They are, and we learned that you can't then, if you try to then push through and do more, you just get a rebound headache, and all of a sudden you're down again, either that night or the next day, and that just makes it worse.
Absolutely. I am so glad you just said that, because that is another thing that so many of the 900 plus women in this group do. And we do it because we feel like we have to, we have to
Hmm.
push through to watch the kids. We have to push through because we told our kids that we'd watch their kids, the grandkids, or we have to go to work. But really, every time we do that, we're not doing the self-care that we need to do. And we're pushing ourselves one step backwards. So we're making them last longer. We're making them feel worse. And it's what we feel like we should be doing, and we're hoping that they're going to go away, but they don't. They don't go away when we do
No.
that. So a lot of this is about empowering our spouses, loved ones, whatever, to take control of their own health and give them that space to be able to do what they need to do to end their migraines. And obviously you did that with Erin. You gave her that time to work on the program and
Hmm.
supported her through it. I know you were really big in the food arena, trying to make sure that good food was coming in the house.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and it was good to learn that these were the things that we could change that would make a difference, and they did. They
Yeah.
changing the food, changing the way we were eating, um, made a huge difference. And it's not like Adelaide and I are starving or anything. It's not like it was a radical diet. It's just
Right.
it makes a difference. It's totally worth it.
So I hope everybody just caught that, what Bryan said, that they're all eating the same food. Because I
Mhm.
hear so often, I'm afraid to do the program because I don't want to cook 2 meals. I'm afraid that my husband or my kids won't eat the food. I'm afraid no one will like it. And you said you're all eating it, and it's not radical. It's not some
No.
crazy diet. So
Hmm.
really based on whole food, whole real food, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think that we all feel better because of that, because we are eating more whole foods. We're doing a little bit more food preparation, but it's
Mhm.
not, but by avoiding some of those packaged foods, we're avoiding some of the triggers, and that we're not avoiding all packaged foods. Like I said, this isn't a radical, diet of any kind. This is just making changes that make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's some packaged foods in my house, but
Mhm.
they're cleaner packaged foods and they're not ones I eat every day. But we all, we have to live, right? We have to find the best way that we can live the healthiest with still feeling like we're human beings and not, living in a bubble and only eating broccoli every day. So, though I love broccoli. And if I said my daughter be, I'm very offended. I just said that because that's her favorite food, but was the first thing I could think of. So anything else that you feel you'd like to share with us about Erin's journey that I didn't ask you about, or how this affected your household?
When Aaron first went into the program, it requires some time, but it required work on her part. But she just talked to both of us about it, both Adelaide and I about it, and we were able to make those changes. And now, again, life is a much better place in our house. Everybody is much happier in our house now.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know when my husband had to deal with me, I had 10 years of daily migraines, and I was not a nice person. I definitely was not. But, when you're in pain every single day, it kind of wears you out after a while. And you just, as hard as you try, I felt like I gave all my patience to my kids.
Mhm.
You have this much patience in a day when you're dealing with migraines. And I had 2 very young kids at the time, and they got all the patience. And then by the time my poor husband got home, it was like, oh my God, how many hours till I could actually just go to bed? I need to go to bed. So the poor man dealt with the brunt of it. And I'm sure there were times, you know, that Aaron didn't mean to, but I'm sure you dealt with a little of a brunt of it as well. But
And it was frequently the end of the day, and I could
absolutely.
understand because Adelaide's 6.
Yep.
2 years ago when she was 4, and I was coming home, if Erin had a migraine that day, or any kind of head problems that day, the second I walked in the door, it was Adelaide, I'm going to bed. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Hand off. Yep.
the handoff, and do not speak to me until later, much
Yeah,
later. And
exactly. Maybe
mhm,
bring me some water and ice pack. I'll see you in a while.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen anymore. And that's a big difference.
Well, I love the smile on your face. I love where you said that, you know, the household is so much happier. So tell me, if there's another spouse out there who is really unsure about them, you know, having their spouse join the Freedom from Migraine method, they're concerned that this is one more thing that just isn't going to work, one more thing that, you know, they're just going to throw their money at, what would you say to that person?
I would say to that person that if you're tired of seeing your spouse in pain, if you're tired of losing days every month or every week to migraines, that you really need to try this program. It absolutely can help. And I was skeptical when Erin started the program.
Mhm.
I wasn't sure if this was going to help or not, but it absolutely has. And avoiding the migraines is a whole lot better than trying to medicate them away. There's no side effects. There's no hangover headache or medication, hangover from that. And again, no like rebound headaches. That was the other thing. You medicate it, great. You can function for a few hours, and then there's a rebound headache. So I would absolutely, again, going in as a skeptical spouse, I
Mhm.
would absolutely recommend it because it has changed our lives, period. There's no two ways around that.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm so glad that you were honest saying that you were skeptical because it's 100% understandable. It's 100% understandable to be skeptical about this woman that you find on Facebook that you don't know anything about, that you're wondering, did she really have migraines or didn't she? But
Mhm.
knowing that you two, you know, you were willing to try that one more thing. And I think it's really important that hope, you know, having that hope is a big piece of it, that mindset that you go in with. And Erin went in with a wonderful mindset. And I think due a lot in part due to the fact that she had support from her household. You know,
Mhm.
that is also very key to know that it's migraine freedom isn't necessarily about one person, because as you've said quite a few times through this interview, how much it affects the whole household. You know, so it's almost like a little, even though she had to do a lot of the hard work, you were all doing this work together. So really it's all of your migraine freedom. And it's so great to see how happy it's made all you guys.
Well, thank you. We're happy to be happy, I have to say. Yeah.
All right, let me check the comments really quick. Looks like everybody's just watching and hanging out, no additional questions. So if anybody does have any questions, is it okay if they reach out to me and let me know what those are and I can always get the answers from you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'm happy to.
Wonderful, wonderful. So anybody watching or watching the replay, if you guys have any questions, just make sure that you tag me in the post. Let me know and we can get those answers from Bryan. Please share this video with your significant others. I'm sure they will find it extremely helpful. And any last words, Bryan? Any last thing you want to leave the group with?
Just that I'm very grateful to you and the program for helping Erin. Like I said, I was skeptical going in, but this has improved my life. It has improved Erin's life, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate you and I appreciate you coming on today because I know this can be an emotional thing, because it really is. You know, it's someone who didn't have quality of life and gets their life back. And it's not always easy to come on an interview like this and be our first gentleman in the group. So I really, really appreciate your time. Time is valuable. I appreciate your honesty, your openness, and I can't wait to hear more wonderful stories from Erin about all the great things that you guys get to enjoy now that she's found her migraine freedom.
Thank you. We're looking forward to that too.
Thanks, Bryan. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bryan, thanks for coming on. Get
You're welcome.
outside, enjoy this wonderful weather.
Absolutely. It's beautiful in Rochester today.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, here's to your migraine-free day. Bryan, thanks for coming on. Everybody take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.